Welcome back to our course, Water Quality in the Pacific Northwest. We're talking about Introduction to Water Quality. The components of this unit include an introduction to the course, which you heard in the first lecture. Today we're going to talk about public opinion of water quality issues here in the Pacific Northwest, and then we're going to talk about water quality indicators. So this is the second lecture in this course. Lecture title today is Public Opinion of Water Quality Issues in the Pacific Northwest. More specifically, we're going to talk about what does the public think about water quality here in our region. And to understand what the public thinks about water quality issues, we're going to take a look at some survey data that was collected and conducted between 2002 and 2017 and all the way up to 2019. If we take a look at background, we look at water quality in the Pacific Northwest. This course covers several aspects of water quality from a global, national, and regional standpoint. Most of the class covers technical water quality information, and you're going to see lots of technical information as we move through the course. However, as a background, we need to understand a little bit about how the public feels about water quality issues. Public views on the status of local water issues are important because it's public views that drive water policy within the Pacific Northwest. Public views are not always in step with existing scientific information. What the public thinks does not necessarily translate to the actual quality of different types of waters in the region. But even though we have this disconnect several times, it is important to understand public views of the water resource because public views are the biggest driver in public water policy. So we've conducted surveys many times over the last 15 to 17 years, and the purpose of these surveys is to determine public attitudes, their aptitudes, and what they consider their priorities about water issues in the Pacific Northwest. We also conduct surveys to determine individual voluntary actions that the public has taken to address water issues. For instance, have you cut down watering on your lawn? Have you reduced the use of chemicals as part of a green initiative to positively affect water quality or water quantity issues? And then we want to see how things change over time to determine how public opinions about water issues have changed priorities over time. So again, these surveys were taken in the Pacific Northwest. I was in charge of these surveys. And when we talk about these surveys, we're talking about surveys that were conducted across the four-state region, the Pacific Northwest. Surveys were sent randomly to people in Alaska, to people in Idaho, to people in Oregon, and to people in Washington. So if we take a look at our region, our population in the four Pacific Northwest states is above 13 million people. That includes about 4 million people in Oregon, over 7 million people in Washington, almost 2 million people in Idaho, and about 650,000 in the state of Alaska. Now, 13 million out of a country with 330 million isn't a very high percentage of our country's population. However, the Pacific Northwest as a region on an area basis makes up 26% of the USA's land area. People in the Pacific Northwest like to say that they are in tune with water issues, with environmental issues, but water issues in particular. Surveys have shown that water is considered the most important natural resource by people in our region. So if we take a look at Pacific Northwest survey efforts, since 2002, a regional survey has been conducted in the Pacific Northwest states on a regular basis. Every 5 years, we've conducted the same survey, so we've conducted this survey in 2002, 2007, 2012, and 2017. and that gives us a good idea about what the water issues are, more specifically the water quality issues as we cover them in this course. The survey questions that were presented to people focus on water issues, both quality and quantity, within the four-state region. The survey was designed using the Dillman approach. Dillman is a famous rural sociologist who worked at Washington State University. He's published several books on how to conduct surveys. Each survey was statistically valid, and we collected responses from more than 2,000 individuals in the region for each of these 4 surveys. In addition to the questions we asked specifically about water issues, we collected demographic information from the people that completed these surveys. We asked them what their gender was, how old they were, the state in the Pacific Northwest that they lived, their formal education level, and their community size. In addition, we asked them how long had they lived in the Pacific Northwest. Gender-wise, male or female. Age-wise, we broke people up into 10-year intervals: less than 30, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 or older. The state of resident: Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, or Washington. Their educational level: did they not receive a high school diploma? Did they receive a high school diploma? Did they attend some college? And did they graduate with a 4-year degree from college? And then we asked them about their community size. People, did they live in communities less than 3,500, in communities that were sized between 3,500 people and 25,000? Did they live in communities between 25,000 and 100,000 people? And did they live in communities that were larger than 100,000 people? So this allows us to see how demographics affected their answers to water quality issues. So in today's lecture, we're going to take a look at surveys, 4 components of these surveys. We're going to see what people thought about surface water quality, what people think about groundwater quality in the region, what people think about drinking water quality or drinking water safety, and what kind of contaminants do people feel is in the water resource in the Pacific Northwest. So let's just go down this list and look at surface water first, then answers to groundwater quality, then answers to drinking water quality, and then answers to contaminants in drinking water. Okay, here we are with surface water quality. Over a 15-year period, the years 2002 to 2017, residents of the Pacific Northwest states, Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, were asked their opinion about the quality of surface waters in the area that they lived in the Pacific Northwest. And let's just take a look at a summary of some of these views and see what we can draw conclusion-wise. I'm just putting some raw data up for you to take a look at. So again, we're constructing a table that is titled Water Quality. These columns should add up to 100%. Percentage of people that thought surface water quality was fair. If you look at the numbers, a pretty substantial percentage of people thought that surface water quality was fair. The numbers range from about 37% as a low to a high of about 42%. Consistently, almost 40% of the public thought surface water quality was fair in the region. And you don't really see many trends between 2002 to 2017. What you see is pretty good consistency. Then if we look at those that thought water quality, surface water quality was in poor shape, the numbers are lower, generally 10% or less. You're seeing 6, 7, 8, 9% of the public saying surface water quality is poor. That means only 1 out of every 10 people thought that surface water quality was poor, and this is pretty consistent across the 15-year surveys. And then finally, we had a blank that people could fill in and said they didn't really have an opinion. They didn't really know what the quality of surface water was in our region. And you can see these numbers are also less than 10%, and the numbers are pretty uniform across this 15-year period. So if you kind of summarize the table, you can see that almost half, or about half of the public, thinks that surface water quality in our region is good or excellent. Another 40% think that surface water quality is fair. Single-digit numbers for the percentage of people that consider surface water quality to be poor in our region, and people that don't have an opinion about surface water quality. Well, let's take a look at some demographic information. If we take a look at the impact of gender, and we'll just compare the 2 years in 2002 and 2017, the percentage of people that said surface water quality is excellent. If we look at excellent or good, and we look at gender, females, 43%, 44% were saying that surface water quality was excellent in 2002, and pretty much the same number in 2017, about 44.6%. Now, if we add in males, male numbers are a little bit different. First of all, in both 2002 and 2017, males were more likely from a statistical standpoint to say that surface water quality was excellent than females. You can see the difference is about 3% in the year 2002, and the difference is 13% in the year 2017. And this is pretty consistent across all our survey data for water issues, that males were more optimistic about the quality of water than females. If anything, males became quite a bit more optimistic over time. Let's take a look at another demographic factor talking about surface water quality excellence. Let's look at the impact of age. And again, we're going to compare the years 2002 and the years 2017, and we're going to look at the percentage of people that said surface water quality was excellent or good. And if we look at age, we look at people that are less than 30 years old and people that are aged between 30 and 39 years. You can see the numbers in 2002 that about 42% of the people that were 39 years or younger, 40% said surface water quality was excellent or good. We move that ahead to the year 2017, and you see those numbers jump by a good 10%, 10 to 15%. So the percentage of younger people saying that surface water quality is good or excellent increased over this 15-year period. We add in some more years. In the next table, let's add in the 40 to 49-year-old survey respondents and the 50 to 59-year-old survey respondents. You can see, if we look at the 2002 data, people between 40 and 60-year-olds were a little bit more likely than younger people to say surface water quality was good or excellent. However, their opinions didn't change as much between 2002 and 2017. In fact, the younger people were saying surface water quality was good or excellent, where they were more likely to say that in 2017 than the middle-aged people. If we add in the older two demographic groups, the people that were between 60 and 69 years old and 70 years or older, you can see back in 2002, there was a general trend that the older the survey respondent was in the region, the more likely they were to say that surface water quality was good or excellent. This trend did not continue to 2017. In 2017, actually, the older people were a little bit less likely than younger people to say surface water quality was good or excellent. A lot of reasons for this. I think that environmental education is greater for the younger students, for the younger survey respondents, and they were more likely to say surface water quality was in pretty good shape in 2017 compared to older people. So we definitely see an impact of age here. And this impact changed quite a bit over this 15-year surface period, over this 15-year period. So if we just summarize the few tables we've looked at, and look at surface water quality just to make some generalizations of where the public stands in the 4 Pacific Northwest states, over 40% of Pacific Northwest residents considered the quality of surface waters to be excellent or good in the 4 survey years. Less than 11% of Pacific Northwest residents considered the quality of surface water to be poor in every survey year. So we've got a large portion of people saying surface water quality is good or excellent over this 15-year period, and a very small percentage of the public, 1 in 10, saying that surface water quality was poor in all of these surveys. In addition, gender and age impacted how the public viewed surface water quality. We ran the statistics on the educational level of people and the size of the community they came from, and education and community size did not impact public views of surface water quality within our region. And to continue to summarize what the public thinks about surface water quality, let's look at gender. Males were more likely than females to rate surface water quality as good or excellent. Males more optimistic. The differences between gender responses were more pronounced in 2017 and 2002. So even back in 2002, males were more likely to say surface water quality was excellent or good compared to females, but the difference between the gender responses was even greater in the year 2017. And if we kind of summarize age for surface water quality, the older survey respondents were more likely than younger respondents to rate surface water quality good or excellent in 2002. However, this reversed by the 2017 survey. Younger people were more likely to say surface water quality was good or excellent. Age did not impact the number of people that rated surface water quality as fair or poor. Okay, so that gives us a sketch about what people think about surface water quality. Now, this is important because people generally have more ideas about surface water quality because it's something you can see as you drive around the region. You cross rivers, you see lakes, you visibly see bodies of water. However, when we go to another type of water resource, when we go to groundwater quality, you're dealing with something that people don't see every day. So let's see about what the public thinks about groundwater quality. Again, over a 15-year period, residents of the Pacific Northwest states were asked their opinion about the quality of groundwater in the area that they lived. Again, we're going to construct a table very similar to the last table that we looked at when we talked about surface water quality. Again, on the left side of the table, we have the status of water quality, what the public thought, and the percentage of people that thought of each status in 2002, 2007, 2012, and 2017. If we take a look at groundwater quality, we see that the numbers for the rating of excellent to good ranged from a low of 37% back in 2002 to 50% in 2012. You can see a trend here. The percentage of people saying that groundwater quality is excellent or good slightly increased over time. We look at the fair values. The fair values ranged from a low of 21% in 2017 to a high of 34% in 2002. One thing that's pretty apparent is that the fair category, the number of people thinking groundwater quality is fair, decreased from 34% in 2002 down to 21% in 2017. So something out there is making the general public a little bit more skeptical about the quality of groundwater in our region. If we look at the poor category, you can see that the numbers are pretty low in 2002, 2007, 2012, but the number jumped significantly in 2017. It may be by media coverage. It may be by awareness. But this has definitely changed. A larger percentage of people were saying groundwater quality is poor in 2017 than just a few earlier years. One other category is for people that didn't voice any opinion on groundwater quality. When we talked about surface water quality, the no opinion numbers were single digits. However, when we talk about groundwater quality, the no opinion category is close to 1 out of every 5 people. And I think that's to be expected because groundwater is something that people don't visually see all the time. And there's a lot of people in the region that don't use the groundwater resource. They get their drinking water from surface sources and things like that. But if you take a look at these numbers, you can see that almost half the people by 2017 thought that surface water quality was good or excellent. So let's take a look at demographics here. If we look at gender impacted what people thought about groundwater quality. We look at the numbers in 2002 and 2017, and we look at females. 34% of females thought that groundwater quality was excellent or good. In 2002, that number increased to 39% by 2017. That's a significant difference. So more females were more likely to say that groundwater quality was good or excellent in 2017. We add males in, and we see the same trends as we saw for surface water quality. 40% of male respondents said that groundwater quality was good or excellent in 2002, and their number jumped to 53.1% by 2017. We have a statistical difference. Males were more likely to say groundwater quality was good or excellent in 2017 than what they said in 2002, and we also had a difference between gender in both years. Males more likely to say groundwater quality was good or excellent in 2002. Males also more likely to say groundwater quality was excellent or good in the year 2017. So we have a gender gap here. If we look at age, the impact of age on groundwater quality, and we're taking a look at the percentage of survey respondents that said groundwater quality is excellent or good, and we're looking at the age categories. Again, less than 30%, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 years or older. I put all the numbers out here at one time this time. I'm going to show you these graphs really 2-year segments at a time. Again, if we go back to the younger group, the percentage of people saying groundwater quality is good or excellent. For the younger groups, people less than 30, people between 30 and 39, you're seeing about 35, 36% saying groundwater quality is good or excellent. Those numbers statistically increase by the year 2017. So there's more awareness by the younger survey respondents that groundwater quality is good or excellent. We move into the middle age category, the 40 to 49-year-olds and the 50 to 59-year-olds. We can see similar trends back in 2002, similar numbers as the younger people. Between 36, 37% of the people thought that groundwater quality was good or excellent. Those numbers again go upward appreciably by the year 2017. A statistical increase in the percentage of people saying groundwater quality is good or excellent. And then if we look at the older group, the 60 to 69-year-olds and the 70 pluses, we see some really interesting data. We can see back in 2002 that people in the 60 age category plus had higher percentages of people saying surface groundwater quality was good or excellent than younger constituents. And this held true for 2017 too. The percentage of people 60 to 69 and 70 or older saying that groundwater quality is good or excellent significantly increased, just like with all the other age groups. But again, in 2017, people were more optimistic about groundwater quality when we talk about the older response group. So to summarize that data, we see that over 36% of residents of the Pacific Northwest considered the quality of groundwater to be excellent or good in every survey year. Less than 17% of Pacific Northwest residents considered the quality of groundwater to be poor in every survey year. So you had more than twice as many people saying groundwater quality excellent or good compared to the people that considered groundwater quality poor. As with surface water quality, both a person's gender and their age impacted how the public viewed surface water quality. Again, education level, formal education level of the survey respondent and the size of the community they came from did not impact views of surface water quality. Within gender, males were more likely than females to rate groundwater quality as good or excellent. And both males and females were more likely to rate groundwater quality as good or excellent in 2017 compared to 2002, which would give you the idea that the trends are saying groundwater quality is getting better. We take a minute and we look at age. Age significantly impacted the excellent or good water quality selection in both 2002 and 2017. Older respondents had a more favorable view of groundwater quality than young adults. But what's really important is all age groups had a better opinion of groundwater quality in 2017 than in 2002. Now, I'm just kind of throwing a lot of data at you, but basically you see some themes here. You see that a lot of people in our region think that surface and groundwater quality is good or excellent. And if you look at the trends, people today are more likely to say surface water quality and groundwater quality is good or excellent than they were back in 2002. So our 15-year trends tend to be pretty optimistic. And then finally, our third stage, let's look at drinking water quality. Again, this is an aspect of water quality. Over a 15-year period, residents of the Pacific Northwest states were asked their opinion about the quality of drinking water in the area where they lived. A simple table. Let's take a look at public views of drinking water safety. I'm equating quality and safety here in these answers. They had two answers. Yes, my drinking water is safe. No, my drinking water is not safe. And we're looking at the answers in 2002, 2007, 2012, and 2027. So the people that said, yes, my drinking water is safe to drink, in 2002, 91% said that. 89% in 2007, 86% in 2012, and 83% in 2017. That should be a 17, not a 27. Conversely, people that said their drinking water is not safe, they had two choices. It's safe or it's not safe. So these numbers add to 100%. So back in 2002, less than 9% said their drinking water is not safe to drink. This number had doubled to 17% by the year 2017. Again, that's a typo, it's 2017. I think that the first thing that you need to take a look at is that an overwhelming percentage of people are saying that my drinking water in my home is safe to drink. Even at the lowest number in 2017, that's 8.5 people out of 10 saying, yes, my drinking water is safe to drink. The one thing here that is disturbing is the trend is downward. The trend is downward. We went from over 9 out of 10 people saying my drinking water is safe in 2002 to a little bit more than 8 out of 10 people in 2017. I think if you take a look at communities and their drinking water programs, and you take a look at their annual reports, there is no reason to believe that drinking water quality is deteriorating in the region. I personally think that this slide in the numeric values is due to the fact that people are exposed to a lot of advertising about filters that they can use in their kitchens, in their homes, to enhance the quality of drinking water. I just think the public gets bombarded about filters and deionizers and things that will take contaminants out of drinking water, and things people hadn't thought about in the past. Based on the Environmental Protection Agency data that has been collected throughout the region, the vast majority of drinking water in the region is safe. Both gender had an impact. If we take a look at drinking water safety, let's look at the year 2017. 80% of females said drinking water is safe to drink. 86% of males said drinking water in my home is safe to drink. This is a statistically significant number. Males were more likely than females to say that their drinking water is safe to drink. However, at worst, 8 out of 10 females were saying it's safe. If we take a look at age, and we break this up into 4 age groups: people less than 30, people between 30 and 50, people between 50 and 70, and people that are 70 years old or older. And the percentage of people that says their drinking water is safe, you can see quite a bit of difference. Younger people, 70% are saying their drinking water is safe. When we get to the 30 to 50-year-old group, 85% are saying drinking water is safe in 2017. When we get to the 50 to 70-year-olds, it goes up a little bit to 87%. And by the time you reach 70 years old, almost 9 out of 10 people are saying it's safe to drink. These numbers are statistically different. People in the 30 to 50-year-old age are more likely to say their drinking water is safe than a 30-year-old. Likewise, person in the 50 to 70-year-old arena is more likely to say their drinking water is safe than somebody that's between 30 and 50 years. The differences between these numbers don't look very large, but because of our survey sampling techniques, and we had 2,000 responses in the year 2017, you don't need a big difference to be statistical. So both gender and age impacted what people thought about the safety of their drinking water. But what was interesting about drinking water safety is that formal education level also impacted what people thought about their drinking water being safe or not. If we look at 4 formal levels of education: people that did not receive a high school diploma, people whose terminal education level was a high school diploma, people that went to 1, 2, 3 years of college, some college, and people that have a 4-year college degree. You can see there was differences. People that had not received a high school diploma, 80% of these people also thought drinking water is safe, but that number is low compared to people that had a high school diploma, or people that had some college, or people that had a 4-year college degree thought. Statistically, all these numbers are different. So basically, the more formal education a person had received in the Pacific Northwest, the more likely they were to agree that their home drinking water is safe to drink. Pretty interesting data. In addition, community size also impacted what people thought about the safety of their drinking water. We break communities into 3 sizes. People that live in communities of less than 3,500, that could mean that they are also rural, they live out in the country. People that live in communities between 3,500 and 25,000, in communities between 25,000 and 100,000, and people in communities that are larger than 100,000 people. The safety of drinking water was greatly affected by the size of the community a person came from. Again, these numbers are statistically significantly different. People from the small communities were more likely to say that their drinking water is safe. Over 92% of them said that. As the community got a little bit bigger, between 3,500 and 25,000, 87% of the people thought that their drinking water was safe. When we got to communities between 25,000 and 100,000, that number dropped to 82%. And when we got to communities above 100,000, that number dropped to less than 70%. So there is a big difference in perception of the safety of a person's drinking water as a result of the size of the community this respondent came from. The ironic thing here is perception is not reality. It's quite reversed. The numbers show us that drinking water is safer in the larger cities than it is in the smaller communities. In the larger cities, drinking water is strongly regulated by the EPA and state government, whereas the regulations are less intense in the smaller communities. So it's really interesting that the perception of people is not reality when we come talking about drinking water safety. And we will talk about the safety of drinking water quality later in this course. So to summarize some of the information we have of drinking water quality, over 80% of Pacific Northwest residents consider drinking water safe to drink in every survey year. Less than 17% of Pacific Northwest residents considered drinking water unsafe to drink. And that 17% occurred in the last survey in 2017. Even though the vast majority of residents considered drinking water safe to drink, trends showed that an increasing number of residents were worried about the safety of drinking water by 2017. Again, I believe this has to do with advertising from people that sell filters for indoor use. Gender, age, education level, and community size impacted how residents viewed the safety of their drinking water. Males were more likely than females to view their drinking water as safe. In 2017, this observation of gender difference was also true back in 2002, 2007, and 2012. Age was important. Older respondents were more likely to consider their drinking water safe than younger people. Residents with more formal education were more likely to consider their drinking water safe. A summary point. And then community size impacted respondent views on the safety of drinking water, as residents of small communities were more likely to consider their drinking water safe, as opposed to large communities, where over 32% of residents didn't consider their drinking water safe. And the last public opinion section I wanted to talk to you just to bring up today, because we will talk about contaminants, data from 2017. Perceived water quality problems. Let's look at phosphates, nitrates, and pesticides. 44% of the people were saying they believe that phosphates are a problem in their drinking water. 41% are saying they believe nitrates are a problem in their drinking water. 39% of respondents in the region are saying they believe that pesticides are a problem in their drinking water. Conversely, a large percentage of people don't have a clue. They don't know. That 40% don't know if phosphorus is a problem, 42% don't know if nitrates are a problem, 39% don't know if pesticides are a problem. So if you look at phosphates and you add the 43% with the 40%, that's about 84% of the public. That means that 16% are saying phosphates are not a problem. 40% just don't know. Now, these are perceptions, people's perceptions. The reality is these problems in water are fairly low. In fact, these numbers are probably single-digit numbers or small single-digit numbers, but there is a perception that these are a problem. Let's add a couple more contaminants in here, minerals and heavy metals. 36% believe that minerals are a problem in their local water supplies. 28% believe that heavy metals are a problem. And the percentages that say they just don't know are pretty high. So you got a lot of people saying that these things are problems in their local water supplies. A lot of people saying they don't know if they're a problem. The perception is pretty bad. The reality is actually pretty good. Let's go down and look at a couple more contaminants based on these surveys. Pharmaceuticals. A quarter of the people say that pharmaceutical contamination of our water supply is a problem. Half of the people don't know. Petroleum products, 19% say that they believe that that's a problem. Over 60% don't know. Add a few more contaminants, pathogens, microbes. Very low number, 14.8%. Pathogens are actually the most common contaminant in water supplies. Algae and salinity. So you've got public perception that contaminants are a problem in many areas. What I wanted to show you is, let's take a look at the data in 2002 and compare it to 2017 and see what the trends are, at least in the School of Public Opinion. So if we take a look at public perception of 15-year trends, compare data from 2002 with data from 2017, we've got three contaminants where the public perceives the problem is worse today than it was in 2002. Phosphates. People think it's more of a problem today than it was in 2002. Same with nitrates and the same with pharmaceuticals. And the statistical significance between 2002 and 2017 is significant. The more stars, the more significant it is. So we have public perception trends that phosphates, nitrates, and pharmaceuticals, if anything, are getting worse or more common contaminants. But we also have some contaminants that appear to be less of a problem. We take a look at the 15-year trends for pesticides and petroleum products. The public would say that the problem is less today in 2017 than it was in 2002. And the data show that statistically significant that pesticides are less of a concern as a contaminant today than it was in 2002, and the same thing with petroleum products. And then finally, many of those contaminants, there's no trends in public opinion. Minerals, no change. Heavy metals, no change. Pathogens, no change. Salinity, no change. Algae, no change. So what I have tried to do today is to tell you where the public is when it comes to water quality issues in the Pacific Northwest. We'll be talking about surface water quality, groundwater quality, we'll be talking about drinking water quality, and we'll be talking about some of these contaminants. So now you've got a background on what the public actually thinks. And as we go through the course and talk about some of the issues, we've got to see what perceptions are reality and what perceptions are completely false. Thank you for your attention. Go through the course. Let's take a look at some of the perceived water quality problems that people have seen. Over a 15-year period, residents of the Pacific Northwest states were asked their opinion of perceived water quality problems in the area that they lived. So let's look at quality in the Pacific Northwest. In the left column, we've got the status of water quality, or what the person thought about the status of water quality. And we asked the question in 2002, 2007, 2012, and again in the 2017 survey. Now, the percentage of survey respondents that thought water quality was excellent or good is shown in this first table. As you can see, the numbers range from a low of 41% to a high of almost 58%. But what you see is over 40% of the population thinks that water quality, surface water quality, is excellent or good within the region. And that's been pretty consistent. The all-time high was in 2012 when we were almost to 58,000. The low was in 2007 when 41% thought. Some of the other status